Chiefs end up winning this game.
Somehow, some way.
We say it all the time with the Chiefs with their 11-1 record. It feels like, I'm not saying they're a bad football team, but holy cow, they had a couple of these here. Chiefs win 17-19. Their top 5 graded players that we have in this game: tight end Noah Gray's at the top of the list with an 87.7, guard Joe Tooney with an 85.2, center Creed Humphrey with a 79.1, cornerback Josh Williams a 79.0, and linebacker Drew Tranquil with a 77.6. Patrick Mahomes in this one, 72.6 overall grade. On Las Vegas' side of things, surprise, surprise, Brock Bowers, number 1 highest graded player that they have with a 90.6. Defensive tackle Jonah Lialu with an 80.1. Running back Sincere McCormick with a 72.0. Wide receiver Jacoby Myers with a 71.3. And then Colton Miller at number 5 to round things out with a 69.9. Aiden O'Connell in this game, 77.9 overall grade. What was your stat that told the story here?
Okay, so if you're a heavy double-digit favorite and you want to keep a big underdog in a game, just get down to the red zone and then stop. And that's where the Chiefs were in this game. 1 for 5.
Yeah, 1 for 5.
1 for 5 in the red zone. They were just not finishing drives. They ran 12 plays in the red zone, Trevor, inside the Raiders' 20, and -9 yards on those 12 plays.
Tough to do.
That's almost that's impressive. That's an accomplishment right there almost. That goes in the Stat Hall of Fame, I think. That's incredible. Offensive grade before the Raiders' 20, 78.6. Offensive grade in the red zone, 43.4. Everything just shut down. The Raiders bent, but they never broke on defense, and they only gave up 19 points, which in Kansas City is that's good enough to win you a ball game, and it darn near did outside of some usual Chiefs weirdness at the end that happens. You talk about New Orleans and the voodoo. I think in KC, I don't know what they whipped up this year, but it's every single week with this. But no, the Chiefs, they kept the Raiders in this game by not finishing drives, and that's very often what can happen when you have a double-digit favorite playing against a team they're certainly not supposed to lose to, but that's why this game went down to the wire.
I'll go to the other side of things, and much like I did with the New York Giants, except I think that this was an even better example of it. I'm going to say the stat that told the story is the Aiden O'Connell offense, and it's the fact that this game was close and they could have even won this game here at the end because of how well Aiden O'Connell played. 23 for 35, 340 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 big-time throws, and 2 turnover-worthy plays. I like Aiden O'Connell, man. I liked him at Purdue. I liked him coming into the league. I felt like he should have been the starting quarterback over Gardner Minshew. Now, obviously, he suffered the injury where he missed, about a month and a half with that hand injury, the thumb injury. And so that obviously goes into his playing time not being as much as it could have been this season. But I think this guy actually has more of a future to be a starting quarterback than I thought of Gardner Minshew going into the season. I thought that we saw that this past week. He played well enough for this team to win the football game. So that is my stat that told the story. Double-digit underdog in this one, and yet it came down to the wire, and it was a early Jackson Powers Johnson snap where he thought, the guy was coming early and he thought that they were going to have a free play, so he was just trying to snap it early. It ends up biting him in the butt because not only does that not get called, because what was it? The clock was not running. I can't remember which one it was, but it was a situation where if the clock wasn't running or was running, it would have been called differently, but because it happened to be the way that it was, they let the play run out. The Kansas City Chiefs actually get it. They don't blow the play dead, and that's how the game ends. So outside of that snap there, Aiden O'Connell did exactly what he needed to do to get his team a victory. They just kind of came up short because of one botched play, but I was impressed with Aiden O'Connell in this one. You're most impressive and most disappointing.
So we know these two are going to go together for me. We know the Chiefs' interior offensive line is spectacular, right? Those 3 guys on the inside, Tooney, Humphrey, Smith, just terrific. And in this game, again, they were just terrific. 2 pressures allowed between the 3 of them, both by Joe Tooney, combined for an 82 overall grade, 84.6 pass blocking, really good run blocking between the tackles as always. The Chiefs' interior offensive line is the highest graded in the league by 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
It's a lot.
The Chiefs' tackles in overall grade rank 30th. This is where
that is a discrepancy.
Whether it's Jawan Taylor on the right side and you have Wanye Morris in this game, and sometimes we've seen Kingsley Suamataia, it's this offensive tackle situation, as much as the Chiefs just playing the high wire act, is going to be the reason if they don't three-peat that they don't. I mean, you talk about Taylor and Morris in this game combined to allow 12 pressures and 3 sacks. I mean, a 43.5 run blocking grade. So not getting it done on either end. And you just sit there and you go, how much longer? How much longer can they continue to go? And I know the interior three are amazing. They're all three of them could be all pro players. How much longer can we have? Because the only teams below them are Tennessee and New England. And we know what we think of those two teams' offensive lines. I mean,
bad.
Real bad. And the Chiefs at the two tackle spots are just as bad.
Yep.
How long before, look, you play the Bills, it's Rousseau and Miller. You play the Texans even, it's Anderson and Hunter. You play the Ravens, they got a good D-line, right? You play the Chargers, have Mack and Bosa and Thule. You're going to play good edge rushers in the hell, you play in the pits. If you play the Steelers, all those guys we talked about earlier, if you can't pass protect off the edge, your life gets a lot harder, and they can't do it at all. I've never seen something like that. First on the interior three by a mile and 30th on at tackle. I don't know how they're getting through that.
I think I said this last week. The Chiefs aren't quite what the Eagles were last year when the Eagles were 10-2, and then it all fell apart. And I'm not saying that the Chiefs are going to fall apart. I don't think that's possible with Steve Spagnuolo and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. But it does feel like at times they're hanging together by like scotch tape and paper clips. Like that's sometimes how it feels with the Kansas City Chiefs. So we'll see. We got a month until the playoffs before things really obviously start to get serious. But they're teetering that line of like, man, they're getting pretty damn lucky right now to have the record that they have. And it's not the same exact vibe that it was with the Eagles last year, but they're barely holding it together. So they got to make sure that they finish the regular season strong. I'll do most disappointing so we can end on a high note with most impressive. Most disappointing, Raiders coverage team, 37.4 coverage grade this week, 61.7 open target percentage, and just one forced incompletion this entire game from the Raiders coverage unit. Most impressive, though, Brock Bowers. We're basically on record-breaking watch right now, so we're updating things every single week for Brock Bowers. 14 targets, 10 catches, and 140 receiving yards and a touchdown in this one. He now has 84 receptions and 884 yards on the season. A reminder, Sam Laporta has the rookie tight end record for most receptions in a rookie season with 86, so Bowers is only 2 catches away from that. Mike Ditka has the record for most receiving yards as a tight end with 1,076, so he is less than 200 yards away from that as well. Now you've got to dream even bigger, okay? I don't think he's going to do this, but Travis Kelce has the record for most receiving yards as a tight end overall with 1,416. I don't think that Brock Bowers is going to hit that, but I think he's going to beat the rookie records. And then the most receptions for a tight end in NFL history for a single season is 116. He could hit that. He could beat that as a rookie. So he might not only own both rookie records for receptions and receiving yards. He might beat Zach Ertz now for the record of most receiving or most receptions for a tight end in a single season ever, no matter what. So this is going to be a trophy case rookie season for Brock Bowers.
It's insane when you think about even if you include wide receivers, he's leading all players in catches. And the only 3 guys with more yards are Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin.
It's nuts.
Among all players. This Rookie of the Year race is going to be fun. Because it really, there's a good argument it should be him.
It should
instead, especially with Minshew and Ritter and O'Connell throwing him the ball.
Yep.
Imagine if he was pretty much had any other quarterback situation. Jets, maybe. Even then.
There's only one tight end that's ever won Offensive Rookie of the Year. And it was Mike Ditka in 1961.
Bowers has a good argument as any.
It is the best case that we've had since.
Yep.
So we will see. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below. So if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can come one today.